My name is Captain Amy Power, and I am an engineer in the Army. Today I've brought Philip with me, who is a battlespace
communications operator.
They just changed the name.
They have, yeah.
Okay, so we're here to talk to you about opportunities in the ADF. All right, so I'll introduce myself first. A slide. Okay, cool. So that's some pictures of me. So my name is Amy Power. I'm an aeronautical engineer, so my background is all in helicopters. I joined the Army a week before I turned 17. I went to the Australian Defence Force Academy down in Canberra, which is a university that we run, which I'll talk to you guys about later. I got an aeronautical engineering degree from there. I went to the Royal Military College. I learned how to be an officer. And since then, I've posted all over the country. So I've worked on Tiger helicopters in Darwin. I've done sustainment on long-term engineering projects here in Brisbane. And my last job was up in Townsville on the Chinook platform. You can see at least two of those pictures. I'm in Papua New Guinea. One I'm in Japan, New Zealand, and Alice Springs. So I've been all over the country and the world with the Army. So that's what I do. Philip's going to introduce himself now.
Yeah, g'day guys. I'm Sergeant Philip Clayton. I still perform a battlespace communication operator. So unlike Captain Power here, I am the soldier ranks, not an officer rank. So I first started my basic training at Kapuka. From there, I conducted my initial employment training down in Melbourne at Simpson Barracks. From there, being fully qualified, I was posted to Townsville, where I worked with 3 Brigade up there, mostly with 1RAR, an infantry unit, so getting down and dirty with them. From there, I've been to work with 7th Regiment, which is all your electronic warfare guys, and now I'm down in Brisbane, doing more stuff with 7th Brigade and also instruction and teaching. I've deployed overseas. My main role is working with communications and security procedures.
Okay, so that's just 2 out of our 280 jobs that we have in the ADF. So the Australian Defence Force is comprised of 3 services. Can anyone tell me what service I'm in? No, not the Air Force, that's blue. Yell it out. Army, that's right, we're both in the Army. You can tell because our uniforms are green. We are the land capability. That said, we have helicopters, we have drones, but our focus is on land. We also have the Navy, which is all the ships, and the Air Force, which is, of course, all of our big aircraft. So the 3 services work together to defend Australia and whatever Australia's interests are. So defending Australia is one of our activities. We also help our communities. You might have seen us out and about recently on Operation COVID Assist. So we do a lot of humanitarian aid and disaster relief. And we also support our allies through international operations like we were in Afghanistan. So there's a wide variety of things that the ADF does for the Australian community. And within that, we work closely with technology. We have a lot of different areas that we divide our 280 jobs into. Obviously, today we're here to talk about technology. But technology kind of runs through all of the different jobs that we have in the ADF. So our first category is aviation, which is flying planes. This is a STEM role because all of our pilots are very smart people who do well at things like problem solving, logic, all of that kind of stuff. We have jobs in business and administration. We have jobs in combat and security. But I guess the main ones we're here to talk today about are communications, IT and intelligence, and engineering. So those are our real technical jobs. Slide. I'm going to talk in a second about the difference between an officer and a soldier and the types of things you could do in both. But here is just a slide about some of our lifestyle things. Joining the military is a lifestyle, right? So you get to wear a uniform. We do all of your training for you. So we can pay for you to go to university. We can pay for you to go to trade school. We can pay for you to do the training that Philip did to learn how to be a signals soldier. We do a lot of travel, as you saw in all my pictures. I've been all over the world with the Army. What else did I write up here? And free sports and fitness. We do a lot of fitness. All right, let's talk about jobs. All right, so there's two ways of joining the Army, the military. I say Army a lot. That's only because I'm in the Army. I mean all three services, okay? So general entry is what Philip does. These are the roles. If you are in high school right now and you are not super interested in going to university, but you would still like a job in a technical field, in IT, in something like that, general entry is an excellent choice. These are all really hands-on roles in IT, in communications, in intelligence, in complex pieces of equipment where you do not have to go to university to do these things. All right, the minimum requirement is that you passed year 10, maths and science. And that's it. You have to be 17 to join, but you can have a really hands-on role as a general entry soldier. These are our people that do things for us. They are the ones who connect up the SATCOM, who run the cabling, who make sure that we can communicate with one another, who encrypt stuff and unencrypt things. Yeah. All right. So that is general entry. You can see that we've got non-technical roles, which is what Philip does. That's our IT roles. And then we have trade roles as well. Trades are a really great way of working on equipment because trades are the one that fix all of our equipment. So in Philip's job, when he breaks something, he takes it to our tradies and our tradies fix it. And that's how the system works. Okay, slide. There is just some information about our non-technical roles. You make about $60,000 a year. You need year 10 English and maths. For the trade roles, you need science, and you have to be 16 and a half to apply. So, Philip, can you tell everyone what is the two best things about your job?
The best things about my job, I am challenged almost daily with problem-solving tasks, whether that's something to do with equipment or deploying a communications network, or whether one of my singlers or corporals beneath me has a personal issue that I have to help them work through.
Cool. So Philip works in a non-technical GE role. All right, cool. So we've also got our trade roles. They take a bit longer to train for, but you get paid a little bit extra money. Trade roles are people that fix equipment. We have trades in all three services. We generally do all of our own trade training. So if you are thinking after high school, I really want to do something that's a bit technical, but I don't want to go to university, a trade is a great way to do that. All right, we can teach you how to be an aircraft maintainer, or how to be a carpenter, or a welder, or someone that fixes drones, or someone that works on a submarine. These are good STEM technical fields that don't require degrees, and they allow you to have a really hands-on career where you get to touch stuff every day, where you're out solving problems, working with spanners. It's really cool. All right, so slide. Right, so that is one form of entry. The other form of entry is being an officer, which is what I am. Officers are our leaders and our managers. Okay, so at my jobs, I am generally in charge of people like Philip, but I generally am in charge of tradies because I'm an engineer. And our job are to help manage teams and to give them everything they need to succeed at their jobs. So we have two kinds of officers. Direct entry officers, which do not require a degree. You can be an intelligence officer, you can be a signals corps officer, you can work and drive Navy vessels. None of these things need degrees, but they're still going to get you working in a technical field. We also have the Australian Defence Force Academy, which is a university that I went to. It's down in Canberra. It's run jointly by the military and UNSW. And at ADFA, you do your university studies during the day, and you also do a bit of military training. So at the end, you have a degree and you have your officer qualification, so you can go out and lead soldiers and be in the military. We teach all sorts of things down at ADFA. Engineering is one of them, but we also have degrees in cybersecurity, technology and aviation, science, business, arts, all of that. And then the last option for officer entry is called the Defence University Sponsorship. This is for very specific degrees. So if you are thinking you want to study engineering or a health degree, the Defence University Sponsorship is a way of doing that. With the Defence University Sponsorship, you can go out, study at a university of your choice, apply for the military, and then if you're successful, we'll pay for your degree and we'll pay you to study. And then at the end, you get to be in the full-time service. Slide. All right, so this is just a bit more about ADFA. So those are the degrees that they have. All 3 services get to go to ADFA if they want to, and this is a really excellent way of getting your degree paid for, having a guaranteed job after university, making a fair bit of money, $40,000 to $57,000 a year, just to study at uni. It's what I did, it's how I ended up as an aeronautical engineer. You'll make friends for life, and we'll give you a really good degree and teach you how to use it on complex equipment. So if you're looking at university, that's a really good choice. Direct entry, that is becoming an officer without going to university. A lot of the same job roles are open, except of course engineering, because you have to have an engineering degree to be an engineer. But you can still join a lot of our IT roles that way. And then that's the DUS. As you can see, it's mostly for things like medicine, pharmacy, engineering, psychology, radiology, those health degrees. That's how we do DUS. With that one though, you have to get into university before you can apply. All right, so I think this is my last slide. I went through that quite quick. The point that I am trying to make is that Defence has 280 jobs, and the vast majority of them are technically focused. We have complex equipment from really big ships in the Navy all the way down to handheld sized drones that you can work with every day if you choose to join the military. It's dynamic, it's challenging, and a lot of our jobs don't require a university degree. So if you aren't looking to go to university, but you would still like to work in IT, in STEM, Defence is a really good option for you because we're going to give you that experience working hands-on with equipment in a wide bunch of environments, from on vessels to on base to out on exercise in the field to on deployments. So there's lots of opportunity out there for you to have a job that you enjoy, to work in a career that has good progression, and to learn good skills and play with really cool pieces of equipment. My last job, I was on the Chinook platform, which is a really big helicopter with 2 rotor heads. And on top of the fact that, I found my job challenging and all that, it was just really cool every day to go to work and see a bunch of helicopters. It's awesome. I'm sure Philip thinks the same thing about comms equipment.
Sometimes.
All right, so if you're interested in joining, you can come speak to one of us at the Defence Force Recruiting Centre, so you can just come by the city anytime, or you can go on our website, which has all of our different jobs on there. So that's our Stay Connected page. Now, I talked pretty quickly just then, because I have a habit of doing that. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, go over there. As an engineer, it kind of depends what role I'm doing. We have a lot of different roles for our engineers. But if I'm working at, say, a operational unit, so with the helicopters, usually I would come in the morning. I would do a bit of PT, so physical training. I would do that with my soldiers. And then after that, generally being an officer and an engineer is about planning for the future and dealing with crisis. So part of my day would be taken up with planning. What are we doing this week? What are we doing next week? What are we doing next month? How do we set ourselves up for success? How do we get the helicopters to work not only today, but tomorrow and the next day? So part of my day was always that. Generally, I'd go to a meeting, I'd talk to the pilot, see what they broke overnight. And then the rest of my day was generally dealing with crisis. So helicopters would break, tradies would have problems, the pilots would change their mind about what they wanted to do, and I would work with my team to rejig the plan, to put aircraft online, to make sure everything was still going as smoothly as possible. So really the only standard part of my day was PT. Start with that, and then dealt with the rest of the day as it happened. Yes? You, young man.
What's the most common problem you encounter?
That's really difficult. So, Philip, do you want to try that one?
Common problem. So in my role at a combat signal regiment, which is where most signallers are usually posted to around Australia. There's a combat signal regiment where you support the brigade headquarters. So a more common problem is literally stuff is not working. So you have to problem solve and fault find the equipment and find out why it's not working. Sometimes it might not be a physical problem, it might be an issue with the network itself, so the settings that make the communications work. So it's working through that within the trades, who all know their equipment quite intimately, and working out where the issue is and how we can fix that.
Now, to copy Philip's answer, I would say also problems would arise, right? Things would break in ways that didn't seem possible before that day started, and you would have to deal with that with your team to solve those problems, to make sure you are still giving Army the capability it needs. I think you, yes? With your hand up, yes.
Is there, like, can you swap degrees if you don't like that degree?
It depends on what role you choose. If you pick engineering, there is limited capacity to swap out of engineering because engineering comes with a specific job at the end. And when you join the military, you join with a specific job in mind. However, if you want to join as, say, an intelligence officer, and you start with a cybersecurity degree, you can switch to, say, an arts degree because that's still going to get you the knowledge you need to be an intelligence officer. So yes, there is capacity outside of a few very specific examples, all of those examples being engineering.
We have a question over here.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you have to go to ADFA to get your university paid for?
So there are two ways of getting your university paid for. ADFA is the only way of getting your entire degree paid for. The only way that the military offers of getting your entire degree paid for, we pay for the whole thing from start to finish, all of your textbooks. We also have the Defence University sponsorship, but you can only apply for that once you start university. So some of your university fees will have to be paid by you until you are successful in your application. But the advantage of the Defence University sponsorship is you can go to whatever university you like. So if you really like this lecture hall and you'd like to come to UQ, you can do that and apply for the Defence University sponsorship.
What disqualifies you from military service?
So it really depends. There isn't a lot of things that we say absolutely disqualifies you from military service. You must be 16 and a half to apply, or 16 for ADFA. You must be 17 to join, and you must be an Australian citizen. Outside of that, nothing is very clear. So the best way to find out if you qualify for military service is to come into a Defence Force recruiting centre and ask. We work with you we want people to join the military. So we work closely with you. If there's small problems, we help you fix them. So you can join. But Australian citizen, 17 to join. Those are the two most important things. Yep.
So you mentioned intelligence as one of the things that's included in the military. Could you evaluate?
Okay, so intelligence, we have intelligence soldiers. So we have GE roles for intelligence, and we have intelligence officers. Do you know what intelligence soldiers do?
Not a great
No?
deal.
All right, I'll say then. All right, so intelligence are people that gather information from reports from around the world, from news, from secret squirrel business that I don't get to know about because I'm not in intelligence. And they translate that information so it is usable by operators. So, say we were going on an exercise in a contested or a deployment in a contested environment, and I needed to know whether if I set up tents, they would be safe in a certain area. I would go to my intelligence officer and her and them and their intelligence team, which includes soldiers, would go through the information that was available, and they would tell me what the enemy picture looked like in that area, what the weather was. So if we set up in a certain area, are we likely to get flooded in? So they do all of that knowledge, that background knowledge a person needs to conduct an operation. And you get to find out really good information because you're on all the secret networks that I don't know about.
Right up the back.
Right at the back.
Yep.
Blonde one?
Yep.
If you go to university through the Defence Force, how many years of service do you have to do that?
So, it is, if you go to ADFA, for all careers except being a pilot, it is 9 years, but that includes the time that you spent at university. All right, so if you do a 3-year degree plus about a year of training to learn your job, you're already 4 years into your 9-year or so. I am 11 years in now, so I officially ran out of my return of service 2.5 years ago. Once you run out of a return of service, you can just stay in as long as you like. How many years has it been since you had an IMS?
Oh, I'm 11 years service now, and only had to do 4.
Yeah. So most people stay in after, to be honest, because it's a really cool job.
It's crazy. Yeah, right here.
Yep. Where?
Right here. Yep.
Yep.
What was your hardest task that you overcame while you were getting your degree?
Ooh, so I guess I could break that down into a couple of things. The hardest subject I took was this subject called computational fluid dynamics. It was in 3rd year. It was awful. I almost failed that class. I did not, but it was a really hard class. I would say that the biggest challenge I overcame in my training is, so I went to the Royal Military College. I learned how to be an officer there, but it is a physically and mentally demanding course. I am 5'1", and I am not great at pack marching. So I found that to be the most challenging. The physical aspect of training to be an army officer can be quite a lot. What I did find though, with both of those challenges, both my lack of being good at computational fluid dynamics and my lack of being good at pack marching, I overcame because the friends that you make in training really help you through. You all have the same goal, right? Graduate university, finish your officer training, get out to a unit. So you make a lot of good friends for life, and they help you through the training. It's the same with the soldiers. I'm sure Philip's still friends with people he went to Kapuka with, just as I'm still friends with people I went to RMC with. I think you were next over here.
We're getting buzzed off.
Say I'm 16 and I decided to apply. Would that mean like I go to the thing instantly and I leave my school, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you step foot in a recruiting centre, we actually own you and we can ship you off that afternoon. No. So you can apply from 16 and a half for our soldier roles and 16 years old for our ADFA roles, but you can stipulate to Defence Force recruiting when you would like to join. So a lot of people in your position apply at 16, but say, you know what, I want to finish year 12 or I want to do this first. So you just have to tell us that. The process is entirely voluntary until you sign on the dotted line saying you're going to join the military, and that is the last thing that you do. So you can get all the way through to your appointment day, so the day you join the military, and then you can decide it's not for you. But no, you can pick when you want to kind of sign up. Obviously there's some barriers because you've got to sign up in line with a training course, but if you want to finish high school, we don't pull you out of high school. All right, I think we've got time for one more, and it's that young man in the middle there. Yep.
What's the most powerful helicopter
Powerful in Chinooks, absolutely. They got 2 rotor heads, they're the fastest, they're the biggest, they make the most noise.
Definitely noisy.
Pardon?
Definitely noisy.
Definitely noisy, extremely so. So it's a Chinook helicopter. It's the best one. That's my personal opinion, not that I'm biased. All right, I think we've run out of time.
Yeah, we got to wrap up there.
Yeah, I gotta stop here. All right, so if you have any questions, jump on our website, come down and visit us at the Defence Force Recruiting Centre in Brisbane. It's been lovely talking to you all. Thank you very much for your questions.